Finally, after a long wait, everyone can get their hands on arcraiders, starting with the server slam on October 17th, and then the full release on October 30th. This video goes over every important aspect of the game, giving you a head start for the server slam. This guide will also serve as a very helpful tool upon the game's full release. Down in the description below, I will be leaving timestamps for the video, as well as links to any other videos I mentioned during this one. At the main hub, you can see your quests and challenges, invite players to your game, and access the map selection screen via play. Quests are obtained from traders. Upon completing them, you will be rewarded with XP and various items. Challenges are for the battle passes. Completing them will award you with cred, the battle pass currency, which is used to unlock items within the battle passes. Both quests and challenges can be completed for you by your squad mates and vice versa. For example, if you have a quest to destroy a certain arc with a certain weapon, and your teammate has that weapon and kills that arc, it will complete the quest for you. Traders are the first place you can go to use your coins. Each one has a variety of items and quests that you can get from them. As of right now, you can only get quests from Celeste, but she is still a trader, so I think down the road near the end game is when we'll start seeing items pop up in her inventory. Shani, if I'm saying this correctly, is security, where you can buy hatch keys and various supply items. Tian Wen, again, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, is the gun shop, where you can buy weapons and ammo. Apollo for grenades and gadgets. And lastly, Lance, who is the clinic, where you can buy shields, healing items, shield rechargers, and defibrillators. The workshop is your crafting area. You have Scrappy, who brings you loot periodically. Along with him, we have the crafting benches. As you level up and collect the right items, you'll be able to unlock different benches. Most of these can be upgraded. Upgrading them will unlock new items for you to craft. To upgrade them, you need to find certain items found around the map, as well as drop by the arc. The first of these benches is the basic bench, where you can craft the basic augment, which we'll talk about in a moment, shield, some weapons, ammo, and basic consumables. The equipment bench, where you can craft augments and armor. The weapon bench, where you can craft weapons, attachments, and upgrade your weapons. At the med station, you can craft various heals and armor replenishment. The explosive bench, which allows you to craft grenades and mines. At the refiner, you can craft rarer items using more common items you find. You can also break down items via recycling. Doing this will break an item down to the items it would take to craft it, all the way down to the most common components. Recycling items can easily be done in your inventory by right-clicking on the item and clicking recycling. The last bench we have is the utility bench, where you can craft zip lines, flares, cloaks, and a few other pieces of equipment. The character screen is where you can see your current level, skill tree, and mastery. The skill tree has 3 directions to choose from: conditioning, mobility, and survival. Upon placing a skill point within one of the nodes in the skill tree will increase different things, stuff like your sprint time, down crawling speed, max load capacity, and more. You gain 1 skill point per character level, and each upgrade only costs 1 skill point. Most can be upgraded multiple times, increasing the bonuses of that node. Mastery has a variety of challenging objectives for you to take on, from dealing damage to players, finding certain items, and fighting arc. Each one has 3 completion levels: bronze, silver, and gold, with each having a corresponding reward. Sharing the character screen with skills and mastery, we also can find the character customization. Clicking on Change Appearance, you can go in and equip any skins you own, as well as look at other ones to see if something else fits your style. The Battle Pass is where you can spend your cred earned by completing challenges. You can get skins, equipment, raider tokens, which is the premium currency, and weapon packages. Pressing tab from the hub screen will allow you to access your inventory. Here, you'll be able to see your stash, where you can see the items you've collected, and you can use the tabs on the side to narrow down what you want to see by the item type. To increase the capacity of your stash, simply click the icon in the top left and purchase it there. Right off the bat, it will only cost coins, but down the road you will have to use the raider tokens. There are various weapons within arcraiders, each with its own strengths and weaknesses. There are shotguns, light guns, energy, medium, and heavy types. Shotguns and light weapons, which are guns like SMGs and pistols, are great for CQC engagements with players. Energy and medium being more of your assault rifle type weapons, are good for PvE and PvP engagements. Lastly, we have the heavy weapons. These are going to be things like your hand cannons and sniper rifles. The heavy weapons are extremely useful against the AI, the arc enemies, as well as dealing with players at medium to long ranges. Weapons can be upgraded two different ways. You can attach attachments to them via getting them from traders, looting them, or crafting them. And you can also upgrade them via the weapons bench. Where attachments will only upgrade maybe 1 or 2 stats on the weapon, leveling the weapon itself will increase multiple if not all of the stats on the weapon. Some weapons, like the Rattler, can have their magazine capacity increased when you upgrade the weapon. Both your weapons and the shields will degrade over time. This happens with use as well as looting them off of other players. Whenever you get out of a raid, you can go over to your inventory, you can select it, and you can repair the item for the cost of coins. If you guys are enjoying the video and finding it helpful, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you guys would like to see more arcraiders content or other extraction guides, consider hitting that subscribe button. When loading into any raid, you have two options. You can use a loadout you create, or you can use a free loadout. With the loadout that you create, you get to choose what you take in, but whenever you die, you will lose all of those items. Selecting the free loadout option will give you a random loadout. Now if you die, all of this is gone, but if you extract, you get to keep everything that it gave you, plus whatever you picked up along the way. It's also good to mention here that any challenges or quests that you are currently working on can be completed on your regular loadout or the free one. The other difference that there is going to be is that if you choose to make your own loadout, you will have 3 safe pocket spaces. If you use a free loadout, you will have none. Now, if you choose to run a loadout that you've put together, there are a few things that you should know. First off, the augments. Having a higher tier augment allows you to use better armor. Now, when you do use an augment, you go from having 3 safe spaces to only having 2. But the better the augment, the more space you're going to be given within your backpack. Your loadout is also highly dependent upon weight. The more items you have and the heavier they are, the slower you're going to move or the less stamina you're going to have. Keep this in mind when putting together a loadout or swapping out items on the field. Weapons, shields, and anything you find affects this. Each map offers various environments, day and night cycles, and loot. Scrolling over the map will tell you the difficulty level and prominent loot that you can find. The day cycle version of all the maps are always available, whereas the night cycle is only available for a limited time shown by the timer. Once in raid, you can open your map to see where loot is and how abundant it is. Scrolling over one of the highlighted areas, you can see what loot can be found there. They are also color coded, white being the scarcest of loot, orange being decent, and red being abundant. On top of increasing the amount of loot there, the higher the zone, the more likely you are to find rarer items. They usually scale in difficulty as well, where these red areas are more prone to be surrounded by arc. You will also find some areas that are locked. To get into these, you must find the corresponding key. The keys can be found by looting containers throughout any map, and the key will tell you what it specifically unlocks. On the map, you will also be able to see your extraction points. Some are timed, and once the time is up, they are no longer available. These are the elevator and train extracts. To activate them, go to the location and interact with the console there. After interacting and a short period of waiting, they will arrive. Once they arrive, you go inside and you have to activate a second console. During this time, you can be killed by Arc or other players, so make sure you keep an eye out. You can also use somebody else's extract. It's not limited how many people can be on it at once. So if another player is using it, even if they're on another team, you can still get on that extract and take it to safety. The hatches are unlimited time, but they do require a key. You can find the keys by looting or purchasing them from one of the traders. Simply approach the console, enter the key, and then the hatch will open. It's only open for a limited time, so if you have 3 or 5 people there, you can all use it as long as you're in within that time frame. Loot can be found almost anywhere. There's loose loot on the ground and on top of furniture, as well as containers you need to pry open. They will make a lot of noise during this process, so be careful and pay attention to your surroundings. You can also find probes, couriers, and husks. Probes can be easily identified by the loud beeping they make. Simply approach them and pry them open. The couriers work in a similar way. Simply approach them where it says you can interact and pry them open. The husks are giant husks of a dead arc. You climb on top of them and pry them open, but upon prying it open, you need to get out of the way. They will start spewing fire for a certain amount of time. Once that's done, you can get inside and take the loot. You can also find small metal boxes sticking out of the ground. These are stashes and hold a little bit of items inside of them. You will also run by these field crates, which look a lot like the stashes except you can't open them. You pick them up and you deposit them at nearby field depots. The field depots will be marked on your map. After dropping it off within the supply depot, you can then loot the console right next to it. These can have weapons, ammo, throwables, and other consumables. You can also loot, and are highly encouraged to, the Arc enemies, as they have various items that can be helpful to you, and some of the items they drop are needed to upgrade the crafting benches. There are 5 rarities of loot that you can find. Gray being common, green being uncommon, blue is rare, purple is epic, and gold is legendary. Loot can be broken down into 4 categories. Your combat items, which are weapons, ammo, equipment, and throwables. Consumables being healing items. Crafting materials, anything you can use for crafting. Among these you will find recipes. Recipes are used to craft specific items such as weapons, materials, and gadgets. Once you find them, you must successfully extract in order to get them. Or you can place them inside your safety pouch, that way, whether you die or extract, you will still get them. Once you leave the raid, you will notice it disappears from your backpack or safe pouch wherever you have it, but don't worry, it's not gone. Simply go over to Workshop and look at the bottom of the screen and you will see crafting recipes. Clicking on this, you will see all the recipes you have collected. Each recipe has a requirement in order for you to craft that item, a certain amount of items for crafting it, as well as a certain workbench level. The last of the lootable items that you will find is valuables, which you can sell for higher amounts than most other items within the game. If you are ever uncertain about what an item is and used for, you can click on the item and look in the bottom left hand corner. Here you will see an icon. This will tell you whether it's a consumable, ammo, a weapon, shields, crafting item, or valuable. The Arc are the AI enemies within the game. They range in size, combat style, and have varying loot, some of which can drop you Arc power cells, which can be used to replenish a little bit of your armor. Each Arc will attack you in a different way, and where some are weak and do little damage, other ones are fairly strong and are a menace to fight. I highly recommend always bringing a heavy weapon to fight them with. Down in the description below you will find my video covering everything you need to know about the Arc, their weaknesses, and how to fight them. There are a few other really cool features within arcraiders that can be super helpful. The first one being in-raid crafting. By opening up your menu here, you can scroll over and you can select the in-raid crafting, where you can craft some ammo, heals, and other consumables. To do so, you just need to collect the items that it says you need. So while you're in the map, you find those items, go ahead and pick them up. You never know when you might need one of those items crafted. You can also team up with other players. Simply using the emote wheel, you can use some preset voice lines to communicate with other raiders. Even if you guys agree to work with each other though, you will not technically put on the same team. You can still kill each other, so be careful of that. But what you can do is you can res non-teammates. Using the defibrillator, you can res anybody very quickly. If you are in a down state, you can still extract. While down, you can use any of the consoles and successfully extract. As I mentioned earlier, some of the Arc drop very specific items. Some of these items can be used as throwables. Some can stun, some are actual grenades, and others create a pretty cool looking explosion. Most aspects of the game are subject to change or more things added before the launch on October 30th. After the launch, I'll be coming out with a new version of this video, completely updated, along with in-depth guides on every aspect of the game. Until then, have fun and good luck topside raiders.